going to try to just get you to just to understand how these work.
Right, okay, so there you are. There's your screen. Watch stream.
All right. So if you're making, I'm going to teach you the hard way, because the hard way will let you understand how to manipulate the easy way without confusion, if that makes sense.
It does.
So the first thing I always do is I'll just create 3 folders, 1, 2, 3, and I'll name these. I name them R, G, B, for red, green, blue. Now you can name them. So the red is the ambient occlusion, and when you're learning, I suggest naming them what they are. So instead of just R, you might want to put ambient occlusion, or you can.
I followed your video yesterday, and so I've got a folder, and I'm going to name that red brackets OA. Yeah.
Yep.
Or AO.
Rather. Yeah. Yep. Or you can name it shadows or whatever makes sense to your brain. But this is what is going to create the fake shadows, basically, right?
Right.
Sorry, I'm snapping at a cat. If you hear me snapping, he's crawling around in my closet.
Do you have a cat or hundreds of cats?
Just 2. They're brother and sister. We rescued them when they were basically nothing.
Right, so I've created a folder, red AO.
Now you need a green, and that is going to be your surface. Everybody calls it the roughness. I like to think of it in my head as the surface material.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Green.
Yep.
And we'll go surface then.
Surface? Yeah, because that in my brain that makes sense. Like, what is the surface made of, right?
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
And then the blue one is your metallic.
Blue. Metallic.
So that's going to be things like an engine exhaust or like a chrome propeller. That's where you're really going to tweak that stuff. Now that you have all 3 of those set, you have to set the filters. If you double click on the folder, you should get a window like this, the layer style window.
Yeah, okay. So that one you said was screen and red only.
You don't have to change. So that's an old legacy thing. You don't have to do screen anymore. You can just turn on red.
Right, so default is pass through. Is that good enough?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So it's on pass through and it's red only. Click OK.
Yep, and then just do that with the green and the blue.
Green is pass through and it's off red, off blue. Okay. And blue pass through again and it's red off, green off, blue only. Okay.
Okay. Now we're going to set up a basic rough. So ambient occlusion folder, we're going to create a layer in here, and we're just going to fill it with white. So your screen should basically turn pinkish red.
Okay, so I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to drag that into the red. And I just fill that with white.
Yep.
Using the paint bucket?
Yep. And what that's doing is basically saying, I don't want any shadows. Right?
Okay,
that's just saying.
So if I turn all this crap off.
Yeah, make sure your RoughMets, I didn't tell you this, make sure they're at the very top, like right below your UV layer. So you want them on top of everything.
I want the 3 that I've just created on top of everything, did you say?
Yep, you want them right up underneath your UVs.
Right at the top. Yep, okay, I've got the mesh below that, so I'll put the mesh to the top.
Yeah, put the mesh to the top, because you want to be able to see, just so while we're doing this, so you can kind of see what we're doing.
So now I want to select my fill color, which is white. I only use, it doesn't do anything.
You got the layer selected or the group selected? Or the mesh selected?
Right, there we go. Stupid boy. And that's come out red.
Yep. Now we're going to go into the green channel. We're going to create another layer in the green channel. And this one you want to kind of put like a neutral gray. So somewhere like a 50% gray, so you can just kind of guesstimate, roughly, 50% gray, and fill that. And you'll see it changes tint just a little bit. It gets a little more orangish.
Okay, so I've got layer 3 under green, and I'm going to go to my Fill tool, and you say mid grey.
Yeah, just somewhere, 50%, between white and black.
Okay, there we go, and we fill that one, and that comes
All
out
right,
green. Yep,
now we're gonna do the same thing in the blue, but we're gonna make this one completely.
completely. You've gone off, sir.
Yeah,
Did you
completely
say
black.
completely black? Right. Okay.
Sorry, did that cut out there on you?
You did, but not to worry. You're
Oh,
back
that's
again now.
interesting.
So layer 4 goes under blue.
Yep.
Okay, and we've selected that, and we want that to be black.
So now you should have kind of an orangish tint, right? Overall.
Okay, that's. Let me just use the paint bucket. Okay, that's right. It doesn't come out black. Why is that?
Did you check your filter blendings? Make sure that you got that folder set right.
That folder is blue only. Right.
And your screen, your layer turned black?
No, it's just transparent at the moment. If I click on that thing, the layer I've added under the blue metallic layer, and select a fill color of black. Okay, go to the paint bucket. Do anything.
You might have to share your screen so I can see what the
because it
trouble is.
wasn't made visible. That's why.
Oh,
So
okay.
now
That'll do it.
So now I've got blue. So if I turn all
Okay.
three on, you say I should have orange.
Yep.
That's on. I've got pink. Let me.
Something's not turned on because I mean it's just color blending. Yeah, share your screen so I can take a.
Yeah, let's go back to Discord.
Oh, I can just have it up on my other monitor to see how you're.
Oh,
coming
luxury
along.
of 2 monitors. Yeah, spoiled.
Oh, I actually have 4, but.
Wow. So that's mine. Go live. Okay, my screen should be up. I think that's the right thing.
Yeah, I'm just trying. There we go. Watch stream. Oh, turn on your green layer. Your green layer's off right now.
Green. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
I'm getting some weird.
Turn the mesh off.
Yeah, did you share just Photoshop or did you share your screen? Because something's wonky.
Okay, let me have a look.
I was able to see that, but, or it might be because you have mine up. No, that's not mine.
You're right. I often do the wrong fucking thing. Stop streaming.
Yeah, with Photoshop you can't share the program. It does. It just doesn't like it. I don't know why.
Okay, so share your screen. That's a bit fire. Screens. All right, there we go. There we go. Is that better? Any better for you, sir? Is that any better for you?
Sorry, I muted my on accident. Yeah, that's much better. I can see everything. But all your layers are filled with brown. Why is that?
I don't know. I have
So
no
select
idea.
that first layer and do white.
That first layer.
That right there, and then do that white.
Fill layer.
So okay, just a quick thing for you. Hit cancel. I'm going to show you a quick trick here.
All right.
Right above the color selection where you just clicked, there's a little like 2 arrows. You see those?
Around, yeah.
Yeah, click that. Now, if you click the one to the left of that, so there's a little black. Click that. That'll always set you to black and white. Now you can swap black and white with the little arrows. So that little arrow above those.
Okay, so now we've got white. Okay.
No, cancel that.
Okay.
Now just hit the little arrow right above those, the little left and down arrows to swap the colors.
Yep.
Boom. Now you have white selected, so hit fill that layer. Boom. Now go to your black layer. Go to your black layer. That's
Which was the
green.
blue one.
Yeah. Yep, which is blue. Now swap your colors again. Boom, fill that. Now go to your green layer. And then just pick a gray color. Somewhere in the middle. Yeah, that's good. Anywhere in there is fine. And then fill that. Now you got an orange layer.
God.
Those little tricks though for flipping colors is really handy on the little color selection tool because you can reset to black and white and you can swap them really fast because you use black and white a lot, right? So
well, I've done a couple of liveries, but I've never got into this. So I've really only just been putting art onto airframes.
Okay, so now what we're gonna do? I want you to save that out to your export it out as a RoughMet to your livery so that it's actually on your livery.
Okay, so I'll turn the mesh off, and that's all that's selected. So we go file. Save a copy.
Mine up.
Go up one, up one. I'll put it in mine, doesn't matter. And we're going to save that as a DDS. And we're going to save that as Spitfire diff RoughMet. Yeah.
Yep.
So I noticed in the thing you put up, in the lines in the description file, you don't use the RoughMet as a type. You use something metallic. That was confusing as well.
Oh yeah,
people seem to
use I can explain that to you. So the legacy version was called Specular, right?
Right.
That was before PBR materials were introduced. PBR is just basically an advanced material thing. Once they introduced PBR materials, then they didn't always update all their models. So if you see Specular, it's the same as Roughness Metallic.
So they can be used interchangeably despite which model you're working on, can they?
Not necessarily. Only if the model will accept Roughness Metallic.
Right.
But if it's a legacy model, it
how do you know whether it will or not?
Change it and see.
Oh, trial and error. Okay, trial and error.
Yeah.
Good answer.
But the Spitfire does. I tested it and it does work. So.
Okay.
So load up your model viewer. Let's take a look and make sure that applied. You should have something similar to what I have on my screen if everything worked.
Wow.
We're about to get into this. This is setting it up basically, right? This is giving you a canvas.
Liveries. Fire.
I don't see a livery in. Oh wait, there it is.
There we go.
All right, now if you hit F5 on your keyboard.
F5.
Okay, it did not apply. You see that? Because you still have the old RoughMet on there.
I just saved it as RoughMet.
Yep, but it didn't take. Why? Let's look at your description file for this livery.
Let's minimize that. File. Libraries. Spitfire. Dev. Description file. Open with code. Spitfire. Spitfire diff RoughMet Specular.
Yeah, go ahead and change that to Roughness Metallic.
Roughness. Is it an underscore?
Yep, Roughness underscore Metallic.
Metallic.
Yep. And save that and reload the model.
Okay. File. Save. Both my mate and I have had a little bit of problems with image refreshing the textures. Sometimes it doesn't refresh them. You got to quit out and come in again.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to see. Yeah, you're working on the DEV one, right? I just want to make sure you're working.
Yep.
And didn't save it in the
set that one up in case you were going to send me what you'd done. That's all. But I can work on mine. That's fine.
Yeah, no, we'll work on yours. That way you already have a template.
Okay. Load library. Roughness.
Yeah, you'll have to reload the model viewer though, because we changed the description file. So gotta exit out.
I've got to quit and reload?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Fine.
Anytime you change the description file, you have to
see.
reload the
Okay.
model viewer. It's kind of annoying, but it just
Right.
it's a
Okay.
DCS
Perhaps that's
thing.
what we were experiencing then. We assumed
Yeah.
that recent files Spitfire.
Then double click on it. It's already selected. It's on the right side there. Now hit F5. I saw it change.
Yep. Gone lighter, isn't it?
Yeah.
F5. Whoa.
All right. So now you can see you don't have any roughness, right? You've lost all that detail.
Wow.
We won't worry about the numbers for
No,
now.
let's not worry about numbers. We've worried about that before. I can figure that one out.
Yeah, that's just making stuff hidden. So now what we're going to do, now you're going to learn what these do. We're going to go back to Photoshop.
Okay, back to Photoshop.
And we're going to pick a spot on the top of one of the wings. I don't care where, just zoom in somewhere on one of the wings. Ooh, yeah, there you go. And then just let's see, you're on, we're gonna do one letter time. So select your red AO white layer. That makes your
red AO
ambient
white layer. That one, yep.
Yep. Now just select your text tool and type in something. I don't care, but just like test or or shadow or whatever, whatever comes to. It doesn't need to be anything specific.
CQV. All stations.
There you go.
I'm in distress. Cambria. Oh, no.
All right, and make it black, all black.
Make the text all black.
Yep.
Okay.
We're gonna do extremes here so you can see how they work, and then move to move it somewhere just like in the middle of the wing so it's easy to see. So.
Okay. In which case I've got to change that. I've got to go there. Oh, fuck. Edit. Undo move. So that'll be there then.
Yep.
No? Is there a way to do that?
Oh, you've got okay, I'm going to give you a little hint here. Yeah, you have auto select on. So if you look at the very top, the menu bar,
yep.
You see that where it says auto select and it's checked right below your cursor?
Okay.
Uncheck that. That is such an annoying feature. Now you can move that without selecting it.
Okay.
So, I don't know why they added. I don't know why they added that. But, yep. And you see, even though you made it black, it looks green, right?
Yes, indeed. I understand that, I think.
Yep, that's because of your layer blending, right? It's blending that red only out of your black. So it's taking the red out of that black. So is my text
in the right place? It should be above the layer 2, not below it.
Yep. Right. So all your main layers we set up, your white, your gray, and your black, think of it as your base canvas. You never really want to draw directly on those or edit those. That's just kind of setting the filter.
So everything I add to these to the red section will go above that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Now go ahead and save this out again, and you can leave the UVs on because it'll actually make it easier to see in the model view.
Okay. Yeah. So file, save a copy.
Yep. Yeah, I just hit apply. It's just asking you about the transfer.
Up we go. DCS. RoughMets. Save.
And then once it's saved out, refresh it and find that on your wing. And you're going to see exactly what it did.
Refresh.
So where did you put it? Must be on the bottom.
No?
Oh, okay. And I'll tell you why you don't see it, because we're on roughness. So the shortcut for AO is F9.
F9. Ah, there we go.
Now, there's your CQV in big black letters, right? Mm-hmm. Even though it looks green on your thing. And all that's doing is that is a shadow. That doesn't actually exist. If you hit F3 now to go back to your main view,
it's not there.
And you zoom in, you might be able to see it if you go F1 mode. So it's not on your colors. You see it's not there. Now if you go F1, You're going to see
a
the
little bit of
shadow?
shadow. Right, okay.
So what that's done is it's created a false shadow. So
Right.
this is useful in areas like inside of cowlings, inside of gear wells, places where you're going to want a shadow.
Right.
9 times out of 10 for what you're doing, you're not going to need to worry about AOs. The game itself will generate the shadows for you, correct?
I think that's a fair assumption. And if you start from scratch, then just copy the AO layer from another existing model, I guess.
Exactly. Pull it out of another RoughMet, which you know how to do that, right? Like just pull the red channel out of another RoughMet and drop it into yours, and boom, you've got shadows. I can show you how to do that if you want.
Yeah, if I've got a RoughMet, it's all combined.
Yep, grab one. Just
if I
show me
go
where
to
it's at.
channels and split it up,
Yep.
I couldn't find a way of copying it. Right.
Okay, open up the RoughMet for this one. We'll do it for this one, so you have it set and ready to go.
In another file.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Open the RoughMet.
Oh, that's the one we just made, so that's not going to be it.
Oh, of course.
That's going to be. So go to your texture browser. Or
open.
Oh, do you already have one somewhere?
I think I probably do. Yeah.
If not, I can show you how I get it.
Liveries,
It's really quick and easy.
Spitfire. Here's the original one, which I haven't.
There you go. Yeah, open that one up.
Don't need bitmaps. Okay.
Okay, go to channels. At the top. Select your red channel.
Red?
Nope, don't turn it off. Just select it.
Ah, okay. Like
yep.
So.
Select it all with either the marquee or Control A.
Select all.
Or yep. Copy that.
Edit. Copy.
Go to our other folder.
Yep.
Go into your red layer now. So go back to layers. Sit right on top of your red layer, the colored one. Go click right on there. Yeah, click right on there. Yep.
There.
Then paste it.
Edit. Paste. Ah. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff.
So now you have. That's what you, being you're not really like into the really in-depth stuff. That is really all you need to do. So go ahead and delete the text layer we made.
Layer delete.
And save it out again. And let's take a look at it now.
File. Save copy. DCS. Up one. RoughMets. Save. Yep. Save. What would be that?
It's going to be F9 for this now.
F9. Right, so it's got the lines on.
You got some shadows.
It's gone. Yeah, we got some shadows.
But you see, you got some subtle shadows like around the tail and around, different areas.
The wing roots and exhausts.
So boom, you created your ambient occlusion layer. It is 100% done. You don't ever have to touch it again.
Okay, that's good to know.
So now let's go back to Photoshop and let's look at the green layer. So we're gonna do the same thing we did with the red. Leave that on and just minimize the stack. So the little arrow next to the folder, just minimize that stack. We're done in there. We don't ever need to go back there.
Okay.
So in the green layer, let's do the same thing. Let's add some text on the wing on top of that gray layer.
Okay.
So just select your layer.
Which one should I select before I select
the layer? So the way Photoshop works, if you add something, it's always going to add on top. So you want to select layer your layer. Yep, okay. And then add your text on top of that.
Okay. CQV.
Yep. And this one we're going to make a couple copies of it. Black? Yeah, make one black. Yep, make one black, one medium gray, and one white.
Okay.
So you can either just do one and then copy it, or you can.
But it doesn't select it when I. Is that selected? There's no box around it. Ah,
That's the
go there.
text is
Right. Okay.
selected.
Okay. So we'll
There you
go
go.
edit, copy.
You want to know a really quick trick to duplicating items
I'm
in
sure there's
Photoshop?
millions of shortcuts. I'm just not familiar with them all. But what is it?
No, but this one's really handy. It's just hold Alt and then
Yep.
click and drag it, and it'll duplicate the layer. So get out of all of that.
All
Just
right.
select your text layer.
Alt.
Okay. Now hold down Alt and just click and drag.
Oh dear. God, isn't it so fucking easy when you know? So you wanted one. You wanted one as what color?
White.
Okay. Make that one white. Okay.
Yep. Make the middle one gray.
Move.
Select it in your layer stack on the right.
Right. Make that one grey. Middle of the
Yep.
road. Okay.
And you see that one almost disappeared, right?
Yeah.
Because it's blended in with the background.
And that one to
And that one's
be
black.
black. Okay.
Yep. Okay, save it out and we'll take a look.
I've got the
So
right
basically
thing
what
selected.
we've told it is, so the different materials are from the absolute smoothest to the most rough. So think like, polished metal to like sandpaper, right?
Yep.
If it's white, it's going to be, let me get this right. If it's white, it's going to be like sandpaper. If it's black, it's going to be like metal. So what we've done is go ahead and save that out. We've created one text that's going to be extremely rough, which will reflect light in a different manner, right? Because the light won't reflect as much. And then the black one will be more like metal. So you'll have to go to F5 now, or F5. And there they are. So you see the white one is going to be, if you go F1 now, you'll see the white one will be shiny. You have to get the light on it just right. You have to rotate model around and light around to get the angle. But there kind of was. So you can see that one is shiny, right?
Yep.
And then the other one, if you can look straight down on it and then just move the sun up, and you know how to. If you right click it, there you go. Now the sun on the right side, just drag it up and down until you start to see. Oh, there we go. So now you can see the difference. So the one that we made shiny is, you can see it's actually like making those colors underneath it.
Yep.
Like it's changing the reflectivity of the material. So the one out on the wingtip under the blue and red is our shiny one. As you can see, it's really making those
you
colors.
can see that shiny, and the other one is just matte. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So that is
one
all
is nothing.
That's what the green channel does. So let's say you want to make a propeller shiny, right? You're going to want to make sure that that color in that area is more of a white color, or excuse me, a black color, right? Because you want it to be that metallic, shiny color. So let's do just that. Let's take the rotor blades, or the propellers. Mm-hmm. You have to find them on here. I don't know where they're at. I haven't done that much.
I don't think they're separated out. I think it's just part of the base layer.
Yeah, they're all right here at the top. It looks like they're all on one file, or one UV, it looks like.
Yeah, the bottom one I've got named UK.
Yeah, so if you can see my screen right now.
Yeah, look at your screen.
Up here, this looks like this is the propeller.
That's the propeller blade, and the boss is a little bit to the left of that, I think.
Yeah, so what we'll do is, if you just watch me for a second, I'm going to take just a rectangle, and I'm going to draw it around these propellers here. So we know we want that to be metallic, right?
Right.
So I'm going to leave it black. So that is, as you can see, it's black colored. So that right there, I save this out. Oh, I'm on CH47. We don't want to save it there. We want to save it here. RoughMets. So you can see now how those turn black, right? Mm-hmm. Now, it doesn't look metallic because, one, we don't have any color on it, and two, we didn't actually make it metallic. So let me just add a little color to
So you've
it.
made it shiny, but not yet metallic.
Yep, exactly. So I'm going to just group these up so they're nice and easy. I'm going to make them, being they are blades, I'm just going to do the same rectangle. And we're going to make them kind of a metallic color. So
Yeah.
let's save
Yeah.
that out. Let me quickly, while I'm doing this, Spitfire into quick access. There we go.
So how have you suddenly ended up with a grey?
I'm on the diffuse layer right now.
I see. Right.
Because
Okay.
I didn't have any color. You have colors on yours, so.
Right. Okay.
So, and now the key thing here is it's metallic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, the wrong
Metallic
button.
and
Sorry.
shiny.
Yep. So now we're gonna go into, we're gonna take that same square we have here, and I'm just going to duplicate it, and I'm gonna put it into the metallic layer.
Mm-hmm.
Metallic's the opposite. So if you want shiny, it needs to be white. If you want dull, it needs to be black. And now you can see we have a purple thing. So we're going to save this out as a RoughMet. And
Bingo.
voila, we have metallic blades. It's kind of hard to see. There you go. You can see it there.
You can. Very shiny.
Yeah, they're very chrome because I went to the extreme, right? Like they wouldn't normally be this chromy, but I went to the extreme so you can see the effects.
Right.
So it's not only is it smooth, but it's metallic. And that is how everything works. So in your brain, you have to think, okay, I'm making, I don't know, let's see, a helmet for a pilot, right? For example. Well, it's not really super metallic, but it's shiny. So you're going to have a lot more of the smoothness, but you're not going to have metallic. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
And
It's
then,
just hard
and there's
plastic.
always balances. And believe it or not, a 1% change in color
make
can
a
have
huge difference.
drastic
Yeah.
effects on your model.
We
So
discovered that yesterday.
yeah. So it's all about just finding those lines. So let's say you've drawn something that, like these propellers. Let's do the tips of these propellers. I'll walk through this real quick. Let's turn off our RoughMets. Let's say you made the tips yellow, right?
Yep.
Just for fun, we will do a. Whoops, that's in the wrong spot. Sorry. We'll make the tips of this thing yellow. This is the diffuse layer I'm on, right? I'm
You're
not
in a
on the
diffuse layer.
anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna save this out because I haven't actually done anything. So I need to actually have some paint on it, and we'll just go here. And now you can see I have yellow tipped
Yep.
propellers. Yep. Now we're gonna go back in, and that same yellow tip I want on my RoughMet, right? So, and I'm not really doing this right because I'm not putting these in the right spot, but it's just because I'm rushing.
So you're saying we got a really shiny metallic propeller, but the painted tips don't need to be shiny and metallic.
Exactly. So I'm putting it in the roughness layer, right?
Yep.
And I want that thing to not be shiny and metallic, so I'm going to give it a white overlay. So now we have our shiny metallic, and we have our non-shiny metallic. So if I save this out as a RoughMet, now we will see. So there's our blade, but if we go into this view now, you can see where the difference is. You see that reflection difference?
Do you realize how clever you are? I appreciate this must represent thousands of hours of experimentation.
Well, actually, no. This part is about knowing
No,
how
the whole thing
textures
together
work.
to get as
Yeah,
knowledgeable about it as you are. Amazing.
And that is the whole basis of everything. If you just keep in mind, and really, honestly, 90% of the work you do is going to be in the roughness layer. You might mess with metallic a little bit, but it's very few and far between.
There's really no need to change normal maps unless you're actually designing models and sticking bits on. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, like I'm redoing all the normal maps on the Chinook right now.
Indeed, but I would never have the time, the patience, or the inclination to do that because I really don't know. I don't know what would be right and what would be wrong, you know.
Exactly. But you might find something in the future where you do want to do. But unless you are doing that, a lot of this is over the top, right? Like, I would say 90% of what you're doing is going to be inside that green channel. Right. So it's going to be all in here. And then it's all about, like, say, I'll show you a quick example, the dirt layer, right? So we have dirt down here that came with it. I'm just going to duplicate this, and I'm going to bring it up into the green layer.
So you duplicated that into the green layer, right?
And you can kind of see we've got some smudges and stuff kind of floating around now, right? Like, this is just... So let me ask you this. You see these dark spots. What will that represent on the model? What will that be as far as roughness?
That'll be the darker smudges.
Yeah, but what would it represent? Like, will it be shiny, or will it be dull, or what will it be on the model?
Well, if it's dirt, it's going to be dull.
Okay, so these white specks will be dull, right? But these dark specks will be shiny. So think of like maybe a fuel streak or something like that. That would be shiny. Oh. So, if that makes sense. So let's save this out and look at it and see what these are. I don't know what they are on the model. I'm just guessing here. So what I'll do normally is if I'm doing a roughness, I'll go F5 so I can see it. Mm-hmm. And they've got them backwards, right? So you can see that should, in my mind, shouldn't be shiny, right? That should be dull, right? Because it's exhaust, right? That should be... Like,
well, that comes down to whether you polish your exhaust or not. No, I'll take your point.
Yeah. So what I would do in that case is I would just simply invert this layer. But I only want that inverted, right? So
you only want the one in the green inverted.
But just the dirt. I don't want this other stuff inverted, right?
Right.
So to do that, I can, if you do an invert and then select the layer and then merge them, it'll only do those layers. Right, yeah. Okay. So now you can see.
But if you don't do that, it'll invert everything there and beneath.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. And that leads to a bad day. So now we look
at this. I'm expecting many of those before I get the hang.
Now you can see it's opposite, and if we look at it, you can see it's dull. You don't see any shine on that exhaust because we have that dull. If we come out here to some of these shiny spots, and it's subtle, right? It's not like it's jumping out at you, but you can kind of see some on the bottom of the wings here. You see that texturing on there. Mm-hmm. So that is where those little details will come in. If you're doing text or roundels, things like that's actually really easy to show. I can show you that real quick. Let's go with let's see, there's got to be a roundel in here somewhere, right?
There is somewhere.
Markings, here we go.
Markings.
So I'm gonna duplicate my markings, and I'm generally broad stroking this for you because it's a little bit tricky. Yep. We're gonna turn our RoughMets back on. I'm just gonna put a color overlay on this. We're gonna go a little bit shinier than normal, so we'll go with that color.
So a little bit.
I went a little shinier,
a little bit whiter than mid-gray.
Well, actually, a little bit darker. Actually, darker
than right. Okay.
Because I want it to be shiny, right? Like it was.
Yeah, so black and shiny. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So, and you might want them the opposite. I mean, I'm just using this as an example.
Yeah, I understand.
And now we come out here. It's not. You can't see the image because it's not on there, but you can definitely see
the shininess of the surface. It'll be on. Yep.
Yeah, there you can really see it.
Yep.
So it's just changing the material of the
your cereal packet, isn't
it? it's. Oh wait, look at that. So there you can really see that.
Yep.
Or they got that name on the side. And then if we do actually save out, let's save this out just so that we can see it. Now, if we kind of get that same view on the wings, it's really hard to.
It is, isn't it?
You can see it here. You can see it here on the body, though. So you can see that the roundel shiny, but the body isn't.
Yep.
And that's
Cool.
everything. So everything from there is just learning how to tweak them, right? Like, and I always start with extremes. Like if I'm doing a roundel, I
Yep.
might just cover it in black to see what it looks like, and then I'll slowly start bringing that color back until I get the exact look I'm looking for. And there's no quick fix for it. There's no speedy. No, this is the way.
Persevere. Yep.
But knowing how those layers interact with each other is the most important thing. So within, a couple minutes, we've created that RoughMets, basically. We've got some dirt on there, we've got the shiny propeller, and we've got shinier roundels and markings.
It's really in the metallic layer and the green layer we're bothered about. Everything else can be copied in, and then deciding which objects from the template layers you actually want to include in one or the other.
Yep, exactly. And you can use everything from your diffuse.
Yep.
So, if you've done custom weathering or lettering or text or whatever, you can just drag those straight up into there.
Until you started, I thought somehow we were going to have to extract the propeller hub.
Nope. It's all there. So
that's it. So it's not like normal things where you see what you're doing. You've got to actually think behind what you're doing because you can't actually see what's happening. It all comes out in these funny colours.
Yeah,
the one way around it. Understanding.
If it helps, you can always isolate too and go to a single channel like this.
Yep.
I personally don't like that because I can't see how it's interacting with the other channels. I like to have them all on, and over time, you just know if it's darker orange, it's going to be shiny. If it's whiter, it's going to be duller. And you'll just the more you do, if it's pink or purple, it's going to be very, very metallic. And these are just things you learn as you're going along.
Yeah, well, I've spent 2 years trial and error from the very start of DCS in all kinds of things. Videos as well, how to use OBS and all this sort of shit. How to edit a video, which I didn't do before. So it's a non-stop learning curve for DCS. You get to a peak, you drop down, and then there's another one to climb on.
Yeah, no, I need to get back to video editing. Oh, I haven't put an actual video out.
I enjoy this and I enjoy that because there's an element of creativity in it, whereas in DCS, so much of it is just destroying things.
Yeah, no, you are right.
Blow that up. Whereas you feel like you're actually creating something here.
I guarantee I have more hours in livery creation than I do flying.
I'm finding that at the moment. So we did a mission the other night, took 3 hours to fly, and of course you replay it, it's another 3 hours to record it. And then you've got to edit it. So by the end of the day, you've spent 10 hours on it. And then 2 hours to upload it because my broadband is crap. So that's a whole day gone just to make a 12-minute video.
Yep. Yeah. And that's why I quit. Well, the other reason I quit making actual videos was I did 3 tutorials, and within 6 months they were all obsolete because they made changes to the game.
Yeah, I tried. I've made about 80 videos now, and I've not spoken on one of them. I'm not there to instruct anyone. I really wanted to just record my own progress, really. And then
that's cool. That's fun to do. So, with that being said, now you've seen how the whole process works. Learning shortcuts is something you'll just learn as you go.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
But
do you use Photoshop for anything else?
What's that?
Do you use Photoshop for anything else?
Oh, I use it every day for my actual real stuff that I do.
That's a huge advantage you've got. I've only got Photoshop to do this, so my knowledge of Photoshop is as limited as my knowledge of libraries. So
no, I've been using Photoshop since God, I've been using it for 20 plus years.
So they're about to make you a major shareholder then.
I mean, I was using it before it was ever really even when you could buy it on CD or basically CD.
Yes, I had it in the earlier versions when it was on CD and you could pirate it, but I'd never liked the subscription model. But there you go.
I'm trying to think. I think the first one I got was in '96.
Wow.
I think that was the first Photoshop I had. So that tells you something. Yeah.
So you're on 24 now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't get that to work on mine because of my limited version of Windows it won't
Yeah.
install. So 23 is good enough for me. I don't want
Yeah,
all that
I'm
AI
running
stuff.
whatever the creative cloud stuff is.
So if you've got
But
time,
yeah,
clearly that's just, I've got to now play with that. I shall look through the video again just to refresh my memory and then we'll have a play. But the other thing I wanted to do, and I don't expect you to do it for me, if I talk you through what I think I should do, you can tell me whether I'm on the right lines or not.
yep,
Which is the image that I want to split across the tail plane and the rudder, for example.
yep.
So if
Yeah, I know
I,
exactly what you're talking about.
so on
These are
this
not
one
always
in
fun.
particular, is a good example because the rudder is some way from a significant distance from the tailplane, and the bit that is next to the tailplane is the round bit that you wouldn't want to include, kind of like the
Okay.
pimples. Right, so I'm thinking that I would plonk my image anywhere on here and decide what size I wanted it to be roughly to
Yeah,
fit on the
let's
tailplane.
go ahead and hide your RoughMets for now,
And then
so we can get them out
and
of the
then I
way.
would mask the tailplane approximately, paying particular attention to the right hand edge of it, and
Yep.
I'd place that image, the right size, into that mask.
No.
No. Ah.
So the easiest way, let's do it. Just let's turn off your RoughMets and let's just do it real quick.
Turn off that one then.
Yeah, the
That
red, the
one
green, and the blue. Just turn them all
and
off.
the blue.
All right,
Turn
turn
on
on your.
that one. Good enough.
Yeah, that'll work. And just zoom in there nice and tight. And we're just gonna do a circle for now to show you how it works.
That'll be good enough. That will be good enough.
Yeah.
See, zoom in a bit. There we
Yeah,
go.
just draw a circle somewhere up out there.
Right, so on to a circle. Let's go shapes. Shapes. Ellipse tool. Fancy not having a circle tool.
Yeah, ellipse tool, circle tool, you know.
Okay, so draw it anywhere for the time being. I can move it. Is it Alt to make the aspect? No, it's not. Control is it for the aspect ratio?
Shift.
Shift. There we go. That's good enough.
And drag it up there on the tail where we want it to split. Oops.
Edit. Undo. Make it a bit bigger.
One thing that I find is helpful, like, and this is just me, but if you go down to the very bottom layer, the one with all the stuff on it, right? The
Yep.
very, very bottom.
Yep.
Create a new layer there.
One new layer there.
Yeah, just there. Then fill that with like a very neutral color, like maybe a light tan or something. Just something to just get rid of all the noise in the back. Just something very neutral-ish, Yeah, like that would be fine. Anything like that. Just to kind of what this does is it kind of gives you a working canvas.
Right.
You have to go to your paint bucket tool and
Paint bucket
fill it up.
and fill it up. There we go. Oh, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, now turn off the tag, turn off whatever decals they have on. We don't want to see any of their stuff. I don't know where that's at. Oh, markings. It's markings. I see it. It's down right above the layer you just made. Okay. Now we have, a clean working canvas. So go ahead and save this out just as a regular texture and let's look at it on the aircraft. That's the first thing I always do because that gives your brain a reference point, right? It's like
DDS up one. I'm going to save that as that one. And
now we can go take a
model
look
view.
at it. Yep.
And refresh that.
Take a look at your tail and see what it looks like.
That's right, we were working on the tail, weren't we? Yeah. All right. Yep. So we can see that that's offset down and back.
Yeah, go ahead and move your sun to this side so we can see it a little bit better. The other way, I think, on the sunshine.
No?
No. Move the sun to this side so it's shining on the dot.
How do I move the sun? I didn't realize. Oh, there we go.
There you go. Now you can zoom in on that tail. Get nice and tight. Get it focal point. Why are you pivoting? That's weird. Anyway, right click and drag, and it'll pan it across for you. There you go. Nice and tight. Okay, so yeah, here we go. We can see that it is offset. It needs to. So, and it's also, if you notice, it's not actually. It's kind of like cut the middle of the circle off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So go back into Photoshop. Now we can kind of see a mental picture. We need to take the backside up and right. So just duplicate that circle.
Okay.
So find it in your layer stack. Yep. No, that's the fill layer. Where did you draw the circle? I don't see. Oh, up there. That's fine. Yeah, you can put it where. So just duplicate that.
Duplicate layer.
Yep. Make it a different color now. So on the, you can just pick any color. It doesn't matter what.
Make it a darker one. Okay. Bucket.
Yeah, hide that. Now don't do that. So it's so let me show you something. If you got shapes, you don't want to use the fill tool. So on the top right side, you see your color swatches?
Yes.
Just click one of those colors up there, and it'll automatically select that color. Fill that circle. Why did it
That's
go
because
away?
it's edit undo.
Oh no. It's right. No, it was right.
Right.
Refill it. Yeah. There you go. So what it was the same color as the background, so it just disappeared.
Okay.
So now take that ellipse, use your move tool. You've already got it selected, so you can go straight to the move tool and just move it to the right. Now, when you're moving, you can hold shift, and it will always stay either horizontal or
vertical. Yep.
Yep. So just kind of move it to where you want it.
So we were low at the back.
We were low. Yep.
Right.
Yep. And then save that out again.
About right. So that's file. Save a copy. DCS.
And there's no quick way of doing this.
Okay.
I mean, once we get it lined up, then I'll show you how to mask them out. But to get them lined up is just move it, save it, look at it. Move it, save it, look at it. Move it, save it, look at it. You know what I mean? There is no...
Tedious. We were talking yesterday, and we thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could load a model into Blender and paint on it in 3D?
Oh, God, I would be so happy.
Model view.
I would be
there we go.
So happy if
refresh.
All right. So it needs to come down just a little bit. And so what we're going to do now, we will mask this second one so that we can see the difference. So let's head back to Photoshop.
Okay, Photoshop.
Now just kind of, you don't have to be exact, but use your marquee selection tool. So right under the move tool.
Yep.
And just kind of select the left side, so how do I explain this? You want to select the left side of that circle because we want to hide the part that's on the gray.
You're selecting the bit you want to hide.
Yes, exactly. And we want to hide the left side of that circle.
Do I need to select that layer?
Yep, you can select it now.
That one.
And then do a marquee selection. Basically, write down that UV line.
Well, I'm thinking that it wants to be there, doesn't it? I don't want it on the pintle bit.
Actually, you do, because that's part of that model. So you want to bring that back. Keep coming back. Yeah, right there is where the split is. You can actually see the split in the UVs. You see that?
I need to unselect that.
No. You're good.
Deselect because I didn't get that.
Oh, you didn't get that. You can go. You can always go big on the far side.
Yeah. About there you're in.
That looks pretty good.
Right.
Now just create a mask at the bottom of your layer stack. You remember how to do masking.
Create a layer mask. That one?
That one right there. Yep, click that.
So I just create that with that layer selected.
Yep. Now invert it. So in your properties, you don't have the same layout I have. Hold on.
No, I don't, but mask.
Yeah, you do. It's right there. Yep, scroll back down. Scroll it down. Nope, go back up. Back up to your properties. Scroll that window that you're on now down. You're missing a property. There's on the right side.
Yep.
There you go.
Invert.
Ah. So now save
and
it
I'll just do the same for the other one.
Yep,
the
but the opposite side. Yeah.
Yep.
But let's save that out and see how we're looking for lineup first.
Save a copy. DDS again. That one folder.
And of course, if this doesn't line up, you have to and you move it again. You might have to delete your mask and redo it. There is a way to do a mask that is just like permanent over top, but I find with the way that the liveries work that sometimes they're just more trouble than they're worth.
Right.
So.
Yep. Okay. So back to model viewer and refresh that. Ah, there you go. Look, fucking shit hot, mate.
But now you just need to bring that backside down. But the mask is good. You just need to bring that backside down now. See that?
That's fine. It doesn't need to be exact because it's the method I'm after, not actually tuning it.
But that's all you'd have to do. Now, where it can get tricky is if, say, the front side and the back side are different scales because they didn't do a good job unwrapping the UVs. That can be trickier, but it's the same process, right? You just have to make it slightly bigger, slightly smaller, whatever the case may be, line it up and mask it out.
Right. So I'm thinking if I did this with an image rather than a Photoshop shape.
It's the same thing.
It's the same
Doesn't
thing.
matter what it is. Yep.
Right.
If it's an image, you bring your image in, you make a copy of it because you want a copy on one side and a copy on the other.
In an image, I can move an image within a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. I
think that's
the same process no matter what you're trying to line up. It's just a matter of moving them until they jive.
Fabulous.
The worst one I've done so far is the USAF on the F4. Oh my god, that was a nightmare.
Well, on the tail out.
I can show you. Let me throw this up. Load model. Oh, I should already have. Here we go. Recent. F4.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking F14. Right. Okay.
I only have a few liveries for this.
I got this. And I hopped into it from the horn and I think, who the fuck wants to fly this? I can't see out the bloody cockpit.
So this right here, right? This USAF, I'm going to show this to you in Photoshop and show you what a nightmare this was.
Quite a few panels, I guess.
Yeah, this thing was by far the worst one I've done yet.
Flap slats.
Yeah, it was. I think it's on. Let's see, it'd be right hand.
So why is the line through the S? Is that meant to be a dollar symbol or something?
It's just a stencil, but I like the dollar symbol.
Right. Okay.
Let's see. Oh, that's not the wing. That's the tail. Right hand wing. That's what I want. Not right hand fuselage. We turn on our ADC. So this guy.
Oh my god.
Look at that. Yeah. You can see there's little pieces.
There's a lot of tedious work in there.
Yeah. So I can show you how I did it though.
And unfortunately, when everyone gets it, they don't really appreciate how much time you put into just doing that.
Yeah, all of that just to make that look seamless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's quite an art, isn't
it? That was a nightmare because it's not straight either. You know, it's on that angle, and it's
there's a wings, a bit of extra dihedral in the wingtips.
Yeah, exactly. So that thing that's the hardest one I've done yet.
Mm-hmm. So when you're putting stuff on a helmet, you distort it using the grid.
What do you mean?
Shape, or you just try and make it small enough so it makes no difference?
It depends on. Yeah, that is one method. But it depends on how well they did on the helmet.
Yeah.
Some helmets are laid out very well, and some helmets are not laid out very well. So I think the F-18's got a pretty good helmet UV.
Yeah.
So you can do quite a bit with it. But there's other ones that are not good. I think this one. Let me check. I think the F-18, I actually did something pretty cool with that one. Yeah, so you can get away with a little bit on the F-18. Like I did this for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Stuck a sticker on his. So it's really about the layout of the UVs. This one isn't bad. This one you can work with pretty well.
If you're doing it over the ear, it's trying to get something oblong shape, horizontal, and the same size as the front as it is at the back.
Yeah,
so
and it's just image manipulation.
Yeah.
You know, that's what everybody's like. Well, how do you do that? I was like, it's just all image manipulation. You I don't
play around with it until you acceptable something, and then you tell somebody else I meant to do that. And actually, in fact,
that happens more often than not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, once you have the basic tool set down, it's all just image manipulation. All it is.
That's cleared things up in my mind considerably. So I thank you for that.
Oh, no problem. I figured you were just the RoughMets were just you needed to step through a
Well, I think the problem was I'd watched so many different videos where people have got different ways to do it, and of course some of them are in GIMP, some of them are in Photoshop, and at the end of the day, your mind is just a mush.
Yeah. No, and a lot of it can seem way more complicated than it needs to. It's
yeah, you were overthinking it. You just need a few key concepts, and then away you go.
Yep.
Brilliant.
I think you've got a good base now, and like I said, for what you're doing, I don't think you'll really need to mess with. You can bring in your red channel and your blue channel pretty much from existing liveries, and you're going to be fine. It's not going to mess with you.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about doing all that smudging.
The thing I do now is I don't even use. I use a generic RoughMet, so you can see like on the F-18, I don't have anything extra on here.
Yeah, I saw you talk about that in one of your other videos. Yeah, don't bother with it.
Yeah, because I mean it's such a minor detail that most of the time you're not going to notice it. I used to do custom RoughMets.
It's not often you're that close to another plane to notice either, really.
Exactly. Yeah. So why have a RoughMet for each aircraft? The F4 is a prime example. I have. Let's see here. Where is it at? If I had a RoughMet for every one of these, I mean, there's 20 liveries here.
Yeah, it's not possible.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't see the difference just looking at the plane. So some of these turned out really good. I like them.
Yeah, I think it's cool, isn't it? My best mate's brother was a Phantom pilot. I said, why did you leave? He only did 6 years. I said, why did you leave? He said it was fucking boring. We only ever did training.
That's the Air Force.
and then he went an airline pilot. I said, well, how come that's less boring than fucking flying a Phantom, for Christ's sake?
Yeah.
But he didn't want to hear. I think there must have been another reason, but he didn't want to tell me, which is fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. And even with these, the only thing I changed on the RoughMets on these, so these are a little more dull. Right, so these are, you can see it's a little darker, so it's shinier, and these are just a little more dull because they're more of
yeah.
Yeah.
But marks, etc.
There's no reason, unless you really, really want to make some super fancy, for a video up close shot of a livery. There's no reason too much into the weeds on RoughMets.
Well, even that's quite boring because the best close-up shots are the in-cockpit ones, aren't they? Really.
Say that again. Sorry.
The best close-up shots when you're flying around in DCS are the in-cockpit ones where you're looking over the shoulder, or you're looking at the pilot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean,
it's not very often you're going to take a shot like this. Moving. If you take a close-up of that, nothing moves because you've got nothing moving in the background, and it just looks like a photograph rather than.
Yeah. Like these helmets here, speaking of helmets, these helmets weren't bad. They were laid out really nice.
So you've got all kinds of Photoshop techniques to make that grid because you didn't do that square at a time, did you?
Actually, I drew one square, duplicated it like 20 times, and then copied it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But no, I didn't like position each individual one. I think I have
I was
one
intrigued
on.
how you make your own, like when you're putting lines of rivets on, you make your
Oh
own
yeah.
pen tool. So I looked at that and I thought, he's got that, and it goes to, where is it now? Pen tool.
Oh, yeah. Just go to the stroke. So go to the
Stroke.
right.
Yeah.
Keep going right. Keep going right. Go to the actual line.
There.
There. Drop that down. Select the bottom one. Select the bottom one there in the
More
list.
options.
No. The 3 lines. You see? Oh, you can do it there too. So you can do it there too. See
Okay.
the very top drop down.
That one there.
Now go more options. So now you've got a dot. Set your gap.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Set your gap to like 4.
Mhm.
So set the gap to 4.
4.
Hit OK. And then set your stroke width there where it says 1 pixel up above. Set that to like 5. You can type directly in the box if you need to.
5. Not 57. 5.
There you go. And then just hit enter. Now draw something with your pen tool.
It doesn't matter.
Oh,
It
actually put it on there because you had that selected. Yeah. So
that's good.
That's how I do most of my river
lines. Can you do that only with the patterns there, or can you do it with make it up out of objects?
Well, anything that has a stroke, you can do it with.
Anything that has a stroke, right? Okay.
Yeah. So it is limited to that, but it's very good for drawing quick rivet lines, things like that. Like I've got probably half the Chinook done now, and that's how I've drawn 90% of the rivets on it.
That's tedious work.
Oh, but it's looking good. It's looking so good right now.
Excellent stuff. I can't thank you enough.
No problem.
Spending some time on this, and it's, you know how you just get to a point where you're not getting anywhere.
Oh yeah, I know that all too well.
Yeah. So
now, and liveries are one of those things too. You either love them or you hate them. Like if you enjoy making them, you'll just never stop. You'll just keep going down the rabbit hole.
Well, what I love about the whole thing is that you're always learning. Once you get to the point where you know everything, it now starts to become boring and tedious. But while you're learning, and you think, I didn't realize this.
I've been doing it for 5 or 6 years, and I'm still learning. So I mean,
so there's no end to it. So
I don't think there is an end to it. Like the other day, I had an epiphany. I was like, I just figured out a way, and I haven't perfected this yet, but I'll let you know. I figured out a way to randomize a texture. So if you load an aircraft, I can randomize what textures applied to that livery.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's craziness. So like I can randomize like
pay grade.
It's actually really easy, but like say you got like 6 different helmets. You could randomize the helmet that's put on your pilot every time you load that livery.
And is that done in the description file?
Yes, it's done with a little bit of Lua coding in the description file.
So you can put Lua coding in there. You can put programming code in there.
Yeah, so you just create a variable. You create a table of your textures, right, up above your livery file,
right,
or above your livery table. You create a variable that selects at random one of those texture files, and then where you're calling the texture, you just use that variable. So it'll always pull a random.
The one I did that you've seen for the F-18, the Desert Gulf War one, with a lion on the tail. I did the helmets for that as well, and I was going to put a different image on the back of every helmet, and I thought, nah, because if people want to choose a different helmet, I've got to then explain to them how to edit a Lua file. I didn't realize you could do anything like that. Oh, that's
well, and I haven't actually like gone in depth with it, but the concept works. So once I get it ironed out, I think I'll publish something on it. But
yeah, that would be cool, wouldn't it?
I don't see why it wouldn't work. All my testing worked. Oh,
what
if it worked in testing.
What made you think of trying that, or did you see it somewhere else?
I just popped into my head one day. I was sitting there drawing something else, and I do this a lot when I'm like doing graphics work. graphics work to me is so second nature that usually my mind is just wandering, while I'm doing artwork. So it just popped into my head.
Oh, well, I'm different to you then, because I'm not particularly good at graphics, which is why I find it challenging and interesting.
Yeah, but the more you do it,
Yeah,
I'll tell you the one thing that will help you out tremendously, and I noticed it just watching it, is just learn some of the shortcuts. Like
yeah,
undo is
yeah,
Control Z.
yeah.
Like that is a huge time saver. Selecting
So,
all is like Control A, things like that. Those will help you more than you can even imagine.
so where do you think I got my line from?
I have no idea where you got that line from.
Well, the latest iPad OS comes with this new image app, artificial
Oh,
intelligence. You just type a description in of what you want to see, and that goes away and comes up with a whole load of options of the image you've described.
oh, so you're using AI generation. I've used that on a few things.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought a lot of the time I tried to get one or two eagles, but they're so cartoony it didn't work. But the lion came out quite well, so I thought I'll use that one. I'd never been able to draw anything like that. So,
Yeah, I don't do freehand art. Most of the artwork I do is very technical artwork. It's text and image manipulation and,
what,
basic shapes for
commercially?
what I do. Yeah. So,
Oh, you're a
so when
graphics
it,
artist by trade, eh?
yeah, I
Oh,
do.
right, okay.
I say graphics design, but it's more like logo work, brochures, pamphlets, things like
More
that.
like page layout than just pure artwork.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not like drawing artwork. It's more.
Putting
Let's see
artwork
if I.
together with text. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's a form of graphics design.
Mhm.
I don't do very much anymore because I just don't want to. I've got to the point where I don't have to, so I don't.
Well,
I'm trying to
the
see.
problem with that doing that sort of thing is at some point you've got to deal with a customer, and
Yeah, and
you can never
oh,
keep them happy. As soon as you
and
finish
when
it,
it
they
comes
say,
to
"Ah, but what I meant was, I just wanted it like
the
this."
the problem with and the big problem with customers and graphics is they don't understand half the time like what's good and what's bad. Like
And
here's a logo I made.
they don't know what you can do either, so they've got no concept of what to ask for.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So this is one. I don't know if you can see that. This
yeah,
is one I
I
made for
do.
a company here. Yeah, for a company here in Montana. And the initial. I'm going to show you some of the initial. Like this is kind of some of the initial artwork they wanted. Like, and I was like, guys, that just doesn't apply. So this is what they wanted, and then I gave them this, and they were like, well, we don't like that. So then this was the end one I came up with, and they were like, yeah, that's what we want. And I was like, yeah, but that's not even close to what you started out with, right? Like you can see there's really the only thing I kept was kind of a similar, H&T part, but the rest of it I scrapped. So,
Yeah, but you can
but
see
yeah,
someone in that company would have spent a lot of time coming up with all of these little designs for you, and they'd have had to justify the time they spent to their boss. So,
you might see this one pop up. Don't tell anybody. You might see this one show up eventually.
all right,
So
what's that?
that's the kind of work I do.
Is that going to be on a plane?
No, that's a company that does stuff
Right.
for DCS. They just haven't published anything.
Because
So,
my mate's doing the Mustang at the moment and a P47, and that's his theme. He's going to have
oh
instead
really?
of Randalls, he's going to have the 4 suits as Randalls on the
Nice.
plane. Yeah,
That'll be neat.
actually, he didn't know how to get a livery on a plane when we started 2 weeks ago with this, and I gave him a little bit of knowledge I had, and now he's so fucking far ahead of me. I'm embarrassed. He's much younger, much sharper, and the speed with which he works on a computer leaves me cold. I'm pretty slow, really.
Well, I every once in a while I have to remember that as well. Somebody in my stream will be like, "Hey, can you slow down?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah,
Well,
I
to be
can."
honest, when I'm watching your videos, I follow up to a point, and it's the point at which you start shifting layers around quite quickly that I get lost. Because
Yeah, and it's just because it
it's not
just
usually big enough to actually clearly see what that layer is, so you lose track of what's
yeah.
happening then. But that's just the nature of screen resolution, isn't it? But there you
Yeah,
go.
and it's hard on a 4K. I could scale things a little bit better. I have it actually scaled up right now. Like on my screen, it's even half the size of what you see on the
I'm
screen.
not giving up my 4K for anything. People say, "Oh,
Yeah.
get VR, get VR." No, I've got 4K and it looks beautiful. I'm not swapping it for shitty old VR.
Yeah, no, and then I try VR. My wife laughs because I try VR about every 3 months. I have an Oculus sitting in a drawer, but every 3 months I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go fly VR, and it lasts about a day and a half, and then I'm back to 2D.
Do you get airsick as well in VR?
No, I don't get airsick. I really
Some
enjoy it,
people
but
do.
the
Some people do.
quality is just terrible. Like
Yeah.
it just
Yep.
after you play on 2D 4K, going to VR, it just like I don't know. It just
But I
doesn't
thought I
look
might
good.
get my mind changed because I think in May, Primax are coming out with a new one, which is 4K resolution per eye, and it only
But
weighs
it won't matter.
it weighs 200 grams. But then you got to have a new fucking machine.
But it won't matter because even if it can render at 8K, you won't be able to do that in DCS. It still just doesn't have the technology to give you that actual 4K resolution in the headset.
Right.
Like it just
I
doesn't
can't be
look as
bothered with
good.
it. Yeah, I can't be bothered with it. I'm quite happy with what I am. And I can actually see
Yeah,
what buttons I'm pressing on my keyboard as well, so that's a plus.
yeah, and that's the other thing. If I want to have a drink sitting beside me or
Yeah.
whatever, yeah, it's so
Yeah,
much easier.
at least when you're on a 4K screen, it goes into your mouth rather than it going into your ear when you got a headset on.
Yeah. Or if I need to type something to
Oh,
somebody or
what's happened
pull
there?
up disk, I don't know.
Everything just
I've got it.
disappeared off my desktop.
Oh, you probably hit a shortcut. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Right, so that's fantastic. So if I send you a similar amount to last time, would that suit you, or would you like
No,
something
I'm
different?
not even worried about it. Don't worry.
Are you sure? I don't feel like I
Yeah.
can ask people for help unless they accept something, because it's
No,
all your time.
you're perfectly fine. Just keep making good liveries. How about that?
Well, I keep trying to make liveries, but I don't know where the word good comes from.
Nah, your F-18 turned out really nice. I was
Well,
quite
I'm
happy
quite
with how
pleased with
that
it as
turned.
well. I had to redo it a couple of times because
So
it
I
didn't
should show
you
you
you don't quite know when enough is enough. You know, when do you leave it alone?
some of my early liveries are atrocious. Like I mean, we all start learning somewhere,
Yeah.
right? But I mean, mine are ever evolving. I would say probably the F4 I did last was probably one of the better ones I've ever done. But a year
Well,
ago, it wouldn't have looked near as good.
yeah. Well, you build on your knowledge, don't you, as you go, and you learn the
Yeah, exactly.
shortcuts. Yeah. Good. So I think I've probably taken up enough of your time. I shall. I've got
I
all
was,
this on video now in OBS, so I shall have a look through that again and make some notes from that, and then share it with my mate tonight when he comes home from work, if that's okay with you.
yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. So here, I'm going to
Is
send you this link. But
right.
this is some of the basic shortcuts for Photoshop. And what I did when I was learning, now this was a while ago, is I just stuck them on post-it notes around my monitor. because it worked, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna I'm gonna send you this link and things. So
That's very
like
kind.
one of the ones I use like selecting things, switching layers, these things that are like one, escape of course, enter of course, tab of course,
Hmm.
things like that. Things that are very easy. These selection tools are very handy because this like B brings up your brush, just kind of a
And
lot of them are common
this is in the
sense.
Photoshop manual, is it, or something else?
It's on their
Yeah.
website.
All right.
I'll link it to you
I
right
try
now.
not to visit Adobe's websites. They end up
No,
costing you money somewhere along the line.
they will, but it's just something I just hide because it's not about. It's all about like speeding up the process, right? The quicker you can get to a tool without thinking about it, the quicker you can get to
Yeah,
the next
it's the
tool.
same with videos. Final Cut Pro, it's a tedious process until you've learnt a few key shortcuts, and then suddenly your productivity goes through the roof because you're not
Exactly,
looking for keys all the. You know exactly what to do to trim this and trim that and cut here and cut there. Yeah, good.
exactly. So, and that's just you don't need to know all of those. Don't get me wrong. I would say the ones I use the most are the tool selections.
Yep,
Uh, Tool selections, copying and pasting, and undoing are probably the main ones.
good advice. Good advice. I shall learn a few of those.
And really, you don't need to learn all the tools. What are the tools you use the most? The pin
exactly.
tool,
There's
P.
so much in there. You just don't use half of it. You just need to know what you need to know, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. So
right.
think
So
about it.
I have that link that's come through. It's good. Thanks.
Yeah, just try to stick that in the forefront of your brain. If you find yourself like using a tool multiple times in a row, just think, oh, okay, that's something I should learn to shortcut to.
Time for a shortcut.
And a lot of the shortcuts in Photoshop, if you just hover over the tool, it'll pop up a little, like, do it in Photoshop right now. Like, if you just hover over the fill tool, for example. Oh, that one right there, lasso L. But like that one is G. See?
Right.
It tells you right there in Photoshop.
Yeah. There you are. There you are. Stamp tool. S.
S. Yep.
SS. Ah, right, but it doesn't distinguish.
No, so that one you would have to select whichever one you're using. The erasers.
That's fairly straightforward. P for paint.
Yeah, G is for paint.
No, G is for paint.
B is for brush.
I've got one more question.
Yeah.
If I'm drawing a shape, right?
Yep.
But I want one of those Bezier things to be dead straight and only the other one to be a curve.
Oh, okay, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
So if I go click there now, I've got curved both sides. But when I did that, if I undo that, edit, undo, edit, undo. If I do that again now, if I go there and there, I just want the one between those 2 points to be a curve and nothing else.
Okay, so there's multiple ways to do it. So if you open the pen tool, you can see there's like multiple tools you can select. The convert pen or
convert point tool.
Hold on, let me not make it too complicated. Let me open up Photoshop here because I don't want to lead you down the wrong path.
Okay,
hold on, stand by.
Undo that again.
Let me load up Photoshop because I don't want to tell you the wrong key because it's one of those things I do so often I don't think about what key I'm pressing. You don't think about it
at all when you're doing it. It just comes
naturally. So yeah, I need to actually pull up a file and do it so I don't tell you wrong. So let's go pen tool. Make sure we got a stroke on this just so we can see it. All right. Yeah, shift will hold it to an angle. I remember that. But now, if you want to change, it's okay. Yep. Okay. Alt. If you hold Alt,
a point. Got to start with a point first. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to have a point, and then if you want to change it, you can.
It comes up with a different icon. It's come up with a little. If I hold Alt, it comes up with a little chevron icon next to the pen.
Yep, and that's your handle mover basically. If you want to delete one of those handles,
that's only moving one handle, which is what I want, probably, isn't it? But that's no curve coming out there.
Yeah, so you can move them like that. You can delete a single handle. Okay.
Yep, that's got it. That's the answer to the question. Brilliant.
Yep. So and you can just
still drawing different little dots on the stroke as well.
Because you got your rivet stroke still selected. So. But yeah, and there's different key commands you can use. You can use, I believe. No, Shift just adds another one. If you use the convert point to, you'll have other things you can do. I just don't remember what they all are.
Yeah, I know, because you don't use them. Convert point tool, click a point.
Yeah, but you can, if you click on a point, it will get rid of the handles. And then if you hold Alt, it will just draw one handle. So.
Oh, Alt is one handle. Ah, that will be the key then.
Yeah, so if you if you look at my screen right now, I can show you this.
Where are we?
I'll click back on the Discord channel. Up above on my actual channel, it'll pop back in.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
All right, so this one has a curve in it, right? This one here. So if I click on, and I have, just so you know, I have the convert point tool select. So if I click on that, it gets rid of those curves. If I hold Alt, it only draws off of one side. Did you see that?
And it always,
So
how do I know which side it's going to draw then?
it's always going to go on the side that you've drawn from. That makes sense.
Okay.
So it's always
So it's
going to
go
come
back in its history because it doesn't know if there's anything forward.
exactly.
Yeah,
Basically,
okay.
that's a way to look at it. So yeah,
Excellent.
you can, if you click on it, you can draw a second one though, and then you could always, do whatever you have
Brilliant.
to do with this one. So
Brilliant.
yeah, it's just using Control Alt Shift. They all
It all comes down to
manipulate
learning your
things.
shortcuts again, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, it really is. Bezier corner. I'm just checking in Photoshop. I'm doing a quick search. Right click on the anchor point to delete it. So if we have an anchor point,
right click, we'll delete it. Yep.
So I can't delete the
Can't delete
handle
one
though.
Bezier handle. No.
Yeah, you can. I know you can. I never do it because
I think in the other thing I use, you've got to drag it right into the middle of the node little square, and then it disappears. But I don't know if that's the same for Photoshop.
There we go. There we go. To delete the leading handle. Okay. Let's see if this works. Nope, that didn't work. Maybe I have to have the pen tool selected. Nope, that didn't work. Well, none of these tools are working. Did you figure it out?
I found something you don't know. I feel successful now.
Yeah, well, I never delete handles because I just.
You don't need to because you know what you're doing.
Yeah, because if I need a handle, I don't. It's easy to create a point with one handle. Yeah, I can get a point with one handle. I know how to do that. Drag the handle onto the point and accomplish anything, or just line it up. So that doesn't look like there actually is a way to delete one handle once you've created two.
Right. So you just got to make sure you only create one if you need one. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, and that's I think that's why I've never ran into it because like if I'm
'Cause you-
drawing,
Yep.
and then I know I don't want one, I don't put one in, and then if I want one, I come back and I add.
Yep.
And I think that's just because I probably learned a long time ago there's no way to delete one handle, so I just don't make, I don't make handles if I don't want them. So.
Yep. Good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
It says you can, but I don't see how. So, Command Option, isn't that the same as
Command Option? You on a Mac?
No, I'm not. It's the same as Control Alt. It doesn't work. It doesn't delete it. So yeah, just don't create them.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Or delete them both and then just use Alt to drag the one handle you want out. All right. There we go. Any other questions?
No, I think I've consumed far too much of your time. I think that's been a real eye-opener for me. And I'm sure, now that I've videoed it, it's much better that way because you can actually pay attention to what you're saying when you're saying it rather than trying to make notes. So you can go through a second time and make your notes from there and then get on and do some practicing and see what's what.
Yeah, and just remember as you're learning those RoughMets, don't be afraid to go to the extreme. Like make it full black or full white to see the effect that it's going to give and then dial it back from so.
Yeah, well, I shall, I think this evening I shall have a go at doing a propeller hub, see how that comes out.
Yeah,
and go from there.
I think you'll be just fine.
Great stuff. Thank you very much indeed.
No problem.
Make sure you don't want me to send you anything.
No, I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I might do it as a surprise then.
I'll keep an eye on it, but I'm not expecting anything. So.
Okay, that's very generous of you, sir. Thank you very much.
Have a good day. If you got questions, feel free to reach out. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Lovely job. Thank you very much. Brilliant.
Yep.
Have a good day.
Yeah, see ya.
Okay, going to hang up then. Bye.